Hello, my name is Jason Van Brackle, and this is Visual Studio Code's schema validation recorded November 2022 for Zarf version 0.22. So understand if you're looking at this for a different version, your mileage may vary. Today, first and foremost, we're going to do these high-level steps to get Visual Studio Code validation for your Zarf YAML file. So first and foremost, if you don't have it, go ahead and install Visual Studio Code. We're going to install the Red Hat YAML extension if we don't already have it. We're going to add the Zarf YAML schema file to Visual Studio Code to our settings.json file. And then I'll show you how to set it directly to a specific version of the Zarf YAML file if you need to tie your code to a specific version. So first and foremost, let's get started. And I'm going to open a browser window. We're going to go right to Zarf. So from zarf.dev, we're going to navigate to docs, to user guide, and to getting started with VS Code. So we're just going to follow the high-level steps that we had in the slides with this documentation, which is where I got those high-level steps, and we're going to do it in our VS Code. So if you haven't already, go ahead and install VS Code. I already have it installed on my machine. And let's go ahead and open a Zarf file. So if you haven't already, go out to github.com. Navigate to the Defense Unicorns Zarf repository, and then just grab the code. So here, inside of this repository, we have this examples directory. In this examples directory, we're going to have lots of examples of the zarf.yaml file. So we'll go ahead and open one that's complicated. Once you pull that code base down, I'm going to open Visual Studio Code, and let's go ahead and install that schema file. So here in Visual Studio Code, we're going to open extensions. So down here to extensions, it's also Command-Shift-X. So Command-Shift-X for extensions. Note here, I'm using the Mac OS version. I'm on a Mac. If you're using Windows or using Linux and you have VS Code, this will work pretty much the same way, minus slight variations in keyboard shortcuts. You're going to search extensions for the Red Hat YAML extension. I may already have it, but let's check. So YAML language support. Yep, I already have it installed here. But this is the one you're looking for. It is the YAML language support written by Red Hat. I have version 1.10.1. Again, if you're watching this video later, it may be a different version of the YAML extension. It will probably work just fine. If not, shoot a comment down in this video below. That way, I know to update the video. We have the YAML extension. Let's go ahead and find an example file. So I here have lots and lots of source, GitHub, Defense Unicorns, Zarf. Let's go by name, examples, and I believe the Minio one is pretty large. Here, we'll go ahead and open this folder. And then here's our Zarf file. Now, working with Zarf files, you're working with YAML, which means white space matters, a lot like Python. And occasionally, I will find myself doing, this, or as opposed to this. Because this, we can see the YAML gets flagged. And we can see here that the nested mapping is wrong from YAML, but we don't get anything about Zarf itself. So whether the schema is correct or not. So let's go ahead and correct our YAML, and let's grab that schema file. So again, following along with the documentation, we have we've gone and installed the YAML extension, and let's go ahead and open up that settings JSON file. So that's Control or Command Shift P, and we're going to open user settings in JSON. Command Shift P. So we're going to go to preferences, or what was it, user settings, I believe. Open user settings JSON. So here we've opened it. I have some already. just based on the configuration of my Visual Studio Code. So I have, I have my theme, I have some icon sets, I have a window zoom. I'm always changing the zoom. So let's go in here and let's go grab that. That right from the web. We're gonna grab this YAML.schemas, and you can see here we're grabbing from the Zarf raw, Zarf schema JSON for any Zarf YAML file. Let's look at to see what this schema looks like first. We're gonna go ahead and grab that, copy. Let's paste it over here. We can see here, this is a schema description from jsonschema.org via their draft on what the Zarf schema looks like. So anytime that the Zarf API changes, that being the definition of your components and your charts and our APIs, this will change here in master, which also means that there are possibly different versions of this YAML file that you can use, and you can even tie your source code to one specific version. So let's go ahead and paste that in. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go over to Visual Studio Code. I'm going to create a new object type in here. I think it's in the middle. We're going to find this out. I'm pretty sure it all goes in here. This will be interesting. What's it yelling at us? Associate schemas to YAML files in the current workspace. Expected comma JSON C. No quick fixes available. I have no idea. Oh, I think it's. Oh, I know what that means. Expecting this. We did a comma there. Don't forget that comma. I'm gonna put the extra space in there so it's easier to read, but that's just for my purposes. You don't need it there. And I'm gonna just remove that because I like the way that reads better. Let's go ahead and save that. So now we need a Zarf YAML file open. When we've added our extension, we've added the schema file. Let's see what happens when we modify this chart and do something not allowed. So let's just do something simple like change charts to chart. And just like that, it's caught by the schema. And here we see property chart is not allowed. And where it is, and of course we have no quick fixes available because it's just a schema check. And if I go to charts, right here and there, we now know that works just fine. But that also helps when I do dumb stuff like this, because I do dumb stuff like this all the time. It's YAML. Spaces matter. And right here, we can see here, I've not just violated the YAML spec itself, I've also violated the Zarf spec. So 9 times out of 10, my problems are problems like that, where I just missed the white space. Like, I'm copying something from another chart, I'm pasting, or from another YAML file, I'm pasting it in here to reuse, and I just paste it with the wrong indent. Like here. I can do something like that. You see here again, caught by the schema. Now, if for some reason you want to work with a specific version of the schema, that is also right here in the docs. We go to the documentation, and we can specify a schema number or a version number for the schema, and we can go here with that schema version and paste over here where this is one of the releases. So that's interesting. So let's actually see what it means by releases. We go to Zarf releases, and it's probably just the GitHub release, which I figured it was, and we'll tie it. Let's tie it to, so they were breaking changes in 22.0. So let's see what happens. We're going to be a little bit interesting here. We're gonna put it right on 20. Let's go down to like 19.5. So let's say 0.19.5. And then I just want to see that we do this right. Now, I'm going to make sure that actually works. Okay, there is a 0.19.5. That's good to know. And I believe in 20 we added a field, or in 22 we added a field. So let's take a look at the releases for 22. And I believe there was a metadata field added to there's a metadata field that was added, a description field to constants and variables, right? I believe that is the case. So let's go variables. Let's see, bug fix. Additionally, constant variables, expand this, variables, constants. So we know how to do it. Yeah, it has name and description and values, but description was added later. So let's go ahead and create a variable in here, and we'll go constants. And it didn't like constants, did it? Well, you know why it didn't like constants? Because I put it in the wrong... Did I put it in the wrong spot? Let's see. Constants, straight up with metadata. Oh, this might have been added later. I believe it was. Yeah, we've already found it right here. 21, constant variables. Since I'm on 19.5, that broke right away. So now let's go to, let's say, 22.2. We'll save that file. And here it's expecting array type because we just haven't done anything here. And again, if we go back to 19.5, the type is not allowed. So just like that, if you're on an older version of Zarf, or you want to tie to the version of Zarf that you're on now, that way if there's a breaking change in the metadata later, it gets caught here and you can lint it. And that way you're tied to a specific version instead of just to the master main tag. So if you have any questions with this, you can reach out to me directly. I'm at JVB on the Kubernetes Slack. I'm also on the Rancher Slack and a few other Slacks. That's where you'll find me or somebody impersonating me. My Twitter name is at Jason Van Brackle. I will gladly answer questions online. I am on Twitch Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern. And that's just, I'm trying stuff out. I'm doing integrations. I'm doing some testing. Maybe I'm prepared for one of these videos. But I maybe ran into a roadblock of trying something new. So if there's something I'm working on, it'll be live on Twitch Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. If you want to reach the Zarf team, as always, you can go through the Zarf.dev webpage. You can go to github.com/defenseunicorns/Zarf to put in issues. We also have a Zarf channel on the Kubernetes Slack. So you can sign up for the Kubernetes Slack at slack.kubernetes.io. If you want to speak to Defense Unicorns, you can go to defenseunicorns.com or hit us up on LinkedIn on Twitter. So with that, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye now.